Hello everyone, it's Will from season 1 of The Traitors. Welcome to my new show with HELLO magazine. It's called Traitors Talk. It is unofficial, but it is amazing. I'm here with Emmy today. So hello Emmy.
Hi. Hello Wilf, how's it going?
I'm good. I'm excited to do this because hopefully we can get some contestants on, we can pick their brains and sort of investigate season 2 as it goes on.
I am so excited, because one, I was absolutely obsessed with season 1, as I'm sure everyone was who's watching this show right now. Welcome. Please leave all your comments and things for us because we're going to be reading them all. We're going to be commenting on everything. We're super excited to share theories and everything throughout series 2. I am so excited to be doing this video series with you, Wolf, and I feel like you pulled an absolute blinder of a game. It was amazing.
Sorry.
So I think of all the people to be talking to us about season 2 and what is going on in that castle, you are the absolute expert on this subject.
I'm excited as well. For me, it's amazing to be able to watch it and not actually be anxious about me. I could just watch it and enjoy it. I watch the Australian versions, the American version and stuff, but the UK version obviously has this connection to my heart.
Were you watching it season 1 thinking you were going to get cancelled by the nation a little bit?
He's on fire already. Do you know what? I'll be honest, yeah? For some reason, after I backstabbed Alyssa, which I had to do, it was me or her, and I knew that I was going to go unless I tried to get enough people to vote for her too. I was laying in bed and I couldn't sleep. So for some reason, my brain said, go on Twitter. I was like, the worst platform to go on in terms of people just going off on one. And I was trending number 1 and it was hashtag Wilf and then everything was just snake emojis. And I was like, oh my God.
I think one of the reasons I asked you that was because I think it was more respect than anything else. I think everyone thought you pulled off such a good game.
I was close.
You're so close. But anyway, let's talk season 2. Finally, episode 1 is out. And episodes 2 and 3 are available on iPlayer, but we're not talking about those yet. So we are just keeping it episode 1. If you haven't watched any of it yet, this will be full of spoilers for episode 1, not episode 2 and 3. I mean, where to begin? What do you make of the lineup this year?
So, do you know what? For some reason, I was watching it thinking, who can I dislike? It was so weird. I was like, who don't I like? Because I like everyone. There's certain people, I've written a list. I'm going to say my list, right? So, Zach, right? Miles, Diane, Johnny, Tracy. The reason I'm saying Tracy is because I'm intrigued how a clairvoyant is going to play this game, because if you look at past reality TV, psychics and clairvoyants don't actually do that well. So it'll be interesting to see how they can pull it off. And then Ash, obviously, Paul, Harry, and Charlie. They're my I know there's so many people to talk about because there's 22 cast members. But they're the ones that sort of stood out to me initially. And the lineup, there's so many managers. It's like something manager. Something manager. I'm like, they basically got a manager from every sector of the world.
I think it's really interesting what you were saying about the clairvoyant, because I'm with you. I can't help myself. The second I heard she was a clairvoyant, I was like, oh, because I don't really buy into sort of things. But I do think that what clairvoyants are good at is that they are good at reading people. What it made me think of is, I know you said earlier that you watched the Traitors US. There was a clairvoyant in that, and she got 2 of the traitors, and then she just quit. It was very.
It's not bye.
But she was right. It was I was just like, oh my God, is anyone in the room with me right now? Because she's bang on.
What you got to think about with clairvoyants and psychics, if it's not real, these people have to learn how to cold read people anyway. So they have to learn how to pick off things and stuff. So even if it's not real, hopefully it is, because I find it magical. But if it's not, the skills that they have to be able to do that as a career, that is an amazing skill to be in the Traitors.
There's no denying that they do respond to a person's energy and that sort of thing. And it's what an interesting thing to have for this series. So I'm the same as you. I thought she was very interesting. I've got my eye on Sonia. I think Sonia is going to be really good. And straight away, the breakfast table, she said to Ash, who is one of the traitors, are you a traitor? Scared the absolute Jesus out of poor Ash.
I love it.
It was brilliant. Also got my eye on Diane, who I think is a born faithful. I think very clearly did not want to be a traitor, clearly a faithful. But straight off the bat, she's calling out Harry.
Oh my
And
God.
she's right.
Straight away. And the thing is, you know what made it so interesting? Zach jumped in and went, that was actually me breathing heavy. And I was like, oh my God, he's literally just saved the traitor without realising.
I know, it's so funny. But the thing is, though, is that she hasn't let it go. So straight away, so Zach was like, oh no, that was me breathing heavily. But she's been going around telling everyone these bits of, I mean, what would you do if you were in Harry's situation? Because Harry sort of tried to be like, oh, I think she's trying to accuse me to people. But you can tell he's like rabbit in the headlights. He's terrified.
With Harry, there's two things I want to say here, actually. With Harry, I think he's got the potential to win this game. I really do. I think he's the young, handsome person who is acting sort of naive at times, which is a really good strategy. If you play the middle game, he'll do really, really well. Like, don't forget, with me, when I went through the really hard times, it was just getting through that. And then after that, everyone left me alone. I got no votes till the actual final. So if he gets through this initial period of being in the spotlight and he defends himself well, he could go on and win it. Like, I really believe that. With Diane, she's making herself a target straight away. Like, if you start throwing accusations out really early on, you're seen as a threat. The traitors are going to meet. But saying that, she's probably making herself become a traitor by doing that. So normally you'd be getting murdered for that. But because there's that twist where they're choosing another traitor, maybe they'll think, because she's a potential one at the moment. So maybe they're like, actually, Diane's already onto us and that's very quick. Let's get her on board. And then what will happen? She will crumble as a traitor because she doesn't want to be one. And then they've got her out. Does that make sense? So
yeah. Actually, yeah, absolutely. But this is why you were a traitor and I would never be a traitor, because the way you just described that is like you're thinking like 10 steps ahead.
Yeah.
That's amazing. But let's back it up a little bit and talk about the traitors. We have our three. We have Paul, we have Harry, and we have Ash. So we've already talked some about Harry, and you're thinking it's interesting. You're thinking Harry can go all the way, because I was thinking if there's a weak link there, it's probably Harry.
I
kind of thought that about you.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I think
I know that's so wrong.
It's all about defense. So if you watch season 1, you'll notice that whenever the traitors are under pressure, they all either crack or they defend themselves really well and they get over it. So like Alyssa cracked at the round table. She just ended up going, yeah, whatever. And same with Amanda. She was like, yeah, vote for me, whatever. Like, there weren't no defense behind it. So if you defend yourself, like me, say, I completely understand where you're coming from, but do you know what? I've been looking at this person, throw the blame onto that person, and then make that the story, and it takes people off you straight away. With him, if Harry gets through this like initial like targeting, because at the moment Paul looks the strongest. At the moment, his mannerisms are brilliant.
He's diabolical. Like, honestly, he's just like, make me a traitor. I'm gonna be absolutely evil. He can't wait.
And he's really good at it though, because he's not making himself highlighted at all. He's sort of doing Amanda was amazing at just cruising through and not making herself known too much, not speaking out too much, being quite quiet at times. With me, I couldn't do that because I had to defend myself constantly. So, like, for me, it was a bit harder. And I don't know who they're going to pick for the 4th. I think it's going to be really interesting. But who would you recommend they pick?
There are 4 people that are currently potential traitors that we don't know who. And by the way, I love the twist on the format. I love how it's a little bit different. And now we're guessing who they are. It's like so cool. So we had Sonia, the lady who loves knitting, Diane, who had her eye on Harry, Miles, who is the vet, and Andrew, who's the Welsh guy who's quite built up. He's like in his VT, he's doing all his exercises.
The VT had these stitches. It was massive. It looked like he was going to explode.
I think that they chose Miles.
Yes, that's what I think. I think Miles as well. Why do you think Miles?
First off, he came into the breakfast room and he was not making eye contact. He walked in and his eyes were like down. And I was like, I see you. I see that you're not looking at anyone. And then since then, I think he's been very middle ground. I think he's been very like not putting too much attention on himself. He hasn't done anything suspicious. He's just been a bit. Whereas Sonia's been accusing people of being a traitor. Diane's been, doing all the I'm a faithful chatting to people thing. And then Andrew, I think we would have instantly seen a change in his, because Andrew, I think, has positioned himself as quite a leader quite early on. He's kind of like king of the faithfuls, and he has not budged from that at all. So I think it's Miles. What do you think? Why do you think it's Miles?
I think it's Miles, exactly the same reason in terms of the way he came into breakfast. But also, I think I want him to be a traitor. There's a reason why, right? Because I believe, like, this guy, he's just adopted two daughters. I think that's amazing. And I think he's a veterinary nurse, and he's got a really good heart, and you can see it. And you have quite good morals when you work in these industries, and like if you work for the NHS and stuff, you have quite good morals. And then when you come onto a game show to like be bad, you can see them really struggling with their and I want to see that. I want to see Miles struggling with his decisions. Like,
well,
I know, because I went through it.
You moral conflict.
Yeah, because it's good TV, right? Like, for me,
it's good TV.
It's such good TV. For me, I cried so much because I felt so guilty all the time. And then, like, I'd like to see somebody who doesn't necessarily want to go out and just backstab and do this and do that. I want somebody who's actually like, oh, I feel bad about doing this, because a lot of the traitors at the moment are quite strong and quite like ruthless. It'd be nice to see somebody with a bit more of a bit more heart. They have got heart, don't get me wrong, but he seems like he will struggle with certain decisions, which will be entertaining to watch. Sorry. The one person that I'd love to see his strategy is Anthony. He's a chess player, right? And I'm a massive chess fan. Like, I watch videos of chess all the time. Surprises everyone I say it. But that's why I always try and think like 3-4 days in front of what's happening. So
makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I'd like to see his game plan expand, like, and see what his actual strategy is as a chess master, and just be able to see how he's planning ahead.
Interestingly, though, he's kind of been one of the people that has sort of early doors gotten into a bit of conflict, though, because he was very put out when it was pointed out that they were having some problems on his boat. I mean, I guess it's because he realised that people were talking about it behind his back, and he had a real response to it. But like, I guess when you're in there, those little things, just knowing that someone had a light-hearted conversation about you becomes huge.
Yeah, and the thing is, I want to say is, somebody said in the episode, near the end of the episode, right? No hard evidence. Like they said, if there's no hard evidence yet, and I went, there's never hard evidence, right? It becomes, I call it invisible biscuits, right? So people find a crumb that they think is a crumb, they think it's evidence, and it never leads to anything because it's not evidence. It's just an invisible biscuit. Like, that is what they're doing. They're finding these little random things that are not true, and just all going down a rabbit hole. What is going on? Why are they just all of a sudden like going for it? But then I remember invisible biscuits. No one actually has anything to go on. They go on anything.
The second you got a lead. Actually, that leads me to another interesting new thing about series 2 that I wanted to talk to you about, is that now they are always playing for a shield as well as money. Yeah, so three of them went for the shields, including Harry. Would you have gone for the shields? Because obviously it puts a mark on your back. It suggests you're not a team player, maybe. I mean, was it a good move from Harry to do it, to like take suspicion of himself as a traitor? Like, what is your overall thought on that?
Overall thought is, leave the shields alone. Like, that is it. The thing is, right, if you're a traitor, you're putting yourself like in the spotlight anyway, so you don't want to be on anyone's radar for any reason. Like I just said, people literally go for you for the smallest reasons, and it might not even be a real reason. So the only way I can compare it is when we put 3 people up for trial. We put Ivan, Alex, and John. We put them on trial, and instantly people were like, one of them's a traitor, and they've put themselves on trial. You know, so when you look at that, there's 3 shields. People are going to go, at least one of them's a traitor. They have to be, because that's how people's logic works. Like, and the thing is, if you are faithful, you're literally just putting yourself as a target for no reason. Just leave it alone. Like, it'll be interesting to see if they're going to carry on with this shield thing and see how people are going to react. Because realistically, if you're a faithful and people think you're a traitor and you think you might be going that night, you will naturally go for the shield. And I want to see how people react to that. And do you know the only thing I don't like about it? This might be controversial, right? the missions are the only time that we got to just enjoy ourselves, really, and just get on with it. So what this has done, it's made the missions more gameplay, which for me, it was an escape for us. Like for the season 1, we just went on it. Nobody was playing the game. And I noticed in this one, people are calling people traitors and everything already.
I know. I mean, I did see a thing that Claudia said that this series is more, the contestants are more ruthless. Maybe it's because they've seen season 1 or maybe it's because there's this new thing about the shields in the game. So it's not just like a nice group activity. But I do think, though, I do wonder whether they've added that to make the challenges, like you were saying, like for people watching it at home, to make it have a little bit more
of an impact into the, yeah. I think that realistically, I think this is my own opinion as well. I don't think, like, when I've watched other series of the Traitors, like the Australian one, I don't find them as engaging, the mission parts. So I think everybody enjoys the gameplay part of this game. So it is going to bring more of that. But for me, I mean, as a viewer, it's going to be better. I really believe it. I think it is going to be better. The only reason I don't like it is because if I was in the game.
But yeah, break them. Break the spirit.
Break it. Yeah, but break the spirit. Andy, what are you doing? That's so deep. Yeah, just break them.
What I am wondering, though, is what do you think the faithful should be doing in this? Because do you think it's the best gameplay to sort of stay middle ground? Because you've already got those people that are kind of putting themselves in charge, having these big conversations and stuff. Would you predict that those are the people that are going to be picked off first?
I think with the faithful, I think it's really important that you vote, you stay middle ground, let other people make the first conversation about anything. So for instance, don't be the first person to sit there and go, oh, I'm really nervous about getting murdered tonight. Don't be that person who makes that first comment. Be the person that would go, oh yeah, same. Like, don't be, or if you're always the person to jump on and say something first, you're never going to be like middle. What people should really do is Ivan's strategy and Tom from season 1. They just didn't get to really play it out. And I think if you do get to play out, it's a winning strategy, is if you identify a traitor, become their friend. So if you think, oh my God, that person's a traitor, be their friend and vote. Whoever they vote for, you vote for too, because they'll keep you in the game because you're their majority. As a faithful at the moment, stay under the radar. Don't say too much. Don't say too little either, because people will be like, you're trying to fly under the radar. So it's a really hard game to play. It's a really hard game to play. I am going for the traitors though. The traitors have got to win this. Like, I'm fully traitor.
What are your predictions, Wilf? What do you think we're seeing from here?
For episode 1, I'm gonna go for this is not one I've actually mentioned. I've not said this person's name. I think Kyra is a very strong, independent person, and I think she's outspoken. But if she does it the right way, I think she could go really far. Really, really far. Also, I think Harry, the reason being, I've just got a feeling he's going to surprise a lot of people. He's going to be shown as the weak one. He's going to it took me 3 days to get into the role fully and understand that actually just do it. Like, it's cool. So I think after that, so Harry, and I'm going to have to go for Miles. I just love him. I don't know. There's something about him that's so warm. Oh, but then I like Ash as well. It's really hard. So it's like, do you know what? The winner of the show is going to be Harry.
All right, big claim.
Big claim. Like, I'm going for it now. And what we'll do is when we're like mid-series, then we'll revisit it. Like,
well, we'll leave that
who's
around.
yours then? That's fair, because then if we got to see who's winning.
Okay, all right. So Kyra, Miles, and Harry for you. I think for me, all right, I reckon Paul's gonna go far. I quite like Johnny, the former military.
I like Johnny.
Military officer. I thought he seemed really cool. He seemed like he knew what was what. Maybe Diane, because I think as long as she leaves off Harry, actually, even if she stays on accusing Harry, because then it'd be obvious to kill her, like to
becomes
murder
a
her.
Maddie. So she becomes a Maddie,
right? They always think. I don't think anyone will ever think that she's a traitor. I don't think that she'll have been picked to be a traitor for episode 2.
One of the things I forgot to say as well, the traitors are making a big mistake already, right? One of the biggest mistakes me, Amanda, and Alyssa did, we never made a relationship in the castle. And you notice they're so scared to even talk to each other in the castle. And they've even said, one of them's even said it. And that was our issue. We had trust issues in our relationship because we just didn't really speak in the castle. they have a good advantage this year because they can look at how people reacted last year to certain things. So I'm just loving it already. Like, I'm just so excited. I'm going to binge watch 2 and 3 like right now.
I'm literally so excited to watch this. It's like, get out the chat, let's find it. Let's find out who the cliffhanger is. We'll just have to wait and see. So that's everything from Wilf and myself for Hello's Traitors Talk. Thank you so much for joining us. Please leave your comments, your theories, who your top 3 are to make it to the end. Everything. We can't wait to hear from you. And don't forget to like and subscribe and head over to hellomagazine.com for all your information that you need on the traitors. And we will see you after we've watched episode 3, won't we, Will? So we'll be back on Friday after the episode. So come here to chat with us about all things traitors, and we'll see you then.
Hit the notification bell. Hit the notification bell. See ya.